Please keep checking out the link down in the description to help out the BLM movement and any resources that pop up. I'm not super knowledgeable if there's anything going on currently, but that link should be able to help out if there is stuff going on, GoFundMes, any kind of things like that. That link will be able to lead you straight there, so please keep an eye on that link. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. Today is extremely cozy. I've decided that I'm not putting physical appearance effort into this video because my house is very cold and I'm breaking out and I am just not in the mood to do a full face and do like a cute outfit. So we're doing the I'm bi hoodie because I am bi, and we're gonna do something cute. I want to talk about my favorite mangas. I don't remember how to say it correctly, so please forgive me. I'm gonna be talking about my favorite mangas. Some of these are completed and I have read every single copy, episode, volume. Some of these are completed and I've read every volume. Some of them I have not read every single volume even though the series is completed, and some of these the series isn't completed. There are 4 that I want to talk about, and these are ones that I have either grown up with, are newer, and just really, really love. And they're kind of like my comfort mangas, even though one of them you might look at me and be like, how is that comfort for you, you psychopath? So let's just talk about those. So the first one I want to talk about, unfortunately, I do not own, which makes me very sad, but I have read every single volume of the manga that came out. It's Fruits Basket. I'll put up a little picture because I don't own it, unfortunately. But Fruits Basket is the one that I grew up with. I feel like everybody that's in their like mid to late 20s grew up with Fruits Basket as a manga, even if that's not like the like, are they genres? Can you tell I'm just not feeling it today? Even if that genre is not really like, it's very like, is it called shoujo? When it's like very soft and fluffy and like just mostly like fluffy kind of content. A lot of people don't necessarily like that content. A lot of people like more action or like drama-induced action or drama manga, but Fruits Basket I feel like everybody read. And the original Fruits Basket started in 1998, so I was only 2 years old at the time, and ran until, hold on, I looked it up on my phone and now I can't remember. Ran until 2006, the original manga and the original series that I believe is only like season 1 of the mangas. And now there's a remake. I think it started in 2019, and I haven't seen the remake personally, just like I haven't seen the Sailor Moon remake. But anyway, if you don't know anything about Fruits Basket, it's about this adorable girl named Toru who just tries her best at everything. She is kind of a klutz, she's kind of ditzy, but she has such a big heart and does her absolute best all the time. And she gets involved with this family, the Soma family. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. She gets involved with the Soma family, and they are cursed. I don't want to give too much away. They're cursed. And their curse involves the Chinese zodiac. It's fantastic, and the thing is, it is very fluffy, especially in the beginning. Like the first couple volumes are very like soft and lighthearted, but as you go on, if you decide that you want to like continue, I believe there's 20 volumes, like when they were coming out individually, and now you can buy them as like 2 or 3 in like one manga, and it's like a thicker book. As it continues, there is like a lot of drama, there's like a lot of family conflict, there is like sad backstories and everything, but for the most part it is very like fluffy and touching. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm remembering all like the kind of sad and like, not horrible, but like sad and awful things that happen to the family and Toru because she gets involved in a lot of it. But yeah, I love that manga, and before anybody asks, my favorite characters are Hyo and Hatsuharu. I don't know what that says about me, but I love them, and the one scene that always sticks out in my mind is the Hatsuharu bathroom scene. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you're like, oh my god, Heather, why is that your favorite scene? I think that being my favorite scene says so much about me. So the next manga I want to talk about is one that I own, but I have not finished it. I believe it has 18 volumes, and I only own and have read the first 8. But this one is Ottoman. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. I think there's more of like an accent to it. But I love this series so much. I haven't finished it, like I said. This series is, I don't necessarily know if it's like the best way to go about it, but it's something that I found when I was a bit younger. Does it say when this first started like coming out? Or like, does it say when it was first published? I don't know if manga does it the same way that like American books do it, because American books always have like a copyright thing. Okay, this says 2001. But I don't know if that's 100% accurate. I can actually look it up. I don't know why I'm trying to do it like this. 2006. Okay, so this says 2006 for the copyright. First published in Japan 2007. All right, so this is, you know, a bit older, also like Fruits Basket. I think it started, the copyright, especially in Japan, started right after, you know, the Fruits Basket year. So Ottoman is about Asuka Masamune? I don't know if I said that correctly. I'm so sorry. I'm not good at Japanese names. It is about Asuka, and he is very like stereotypical, like tall, built, not like ripped, but he's like tall, like lean muscle, stoic, masculine man. And he, you know, he plays kendo or does kendo. I'm not sure the appropriate term for that, but he does kendo, and he's like very much seen as like a very cool, like man's man. But in his free time and in his private time, he's very much into sewing and baking, and he makes like, he brings himself little bentos for lunch every day, and it's the cutest thing. And people always ask him if he has a girlfriend because of how cute it is. And he does like flower arranging, and he wears like a very beautiful, like pink fluffy apron. And again, I'm not sure if it's the best way to go about it necessarily. I've never really like critical thinking kind of went into it, but I do like how gender norm challenging it is, because that's just it. On the outside, he does seem very much like a man's man, but he really likes cute, fluffy things. And he gets interested in this girl. Hold on, I don't remember if her name is on here. R-Y-O, so I'm gonna say Rio. He gets this crush on this girl, Rio, and that's just it, like she's like a tiny kind of small girl, and everybody wants her to be like, you know, very cutesy, very girly. But you find out in the manga, a little bit of spoiler, I believe it's only in the first 2 mangas that you find this out, so, you know, it wouldn't be too bad of a spoiler. You find out that she is raised by her father, and she's very, like, interested in, like, boy stuff. Like, she's very tomboy, and she's not at all how she, like, physically appears. And throughout the manga so far, like I said, I've only read the first 8 volumes. There's 18, I believe, 18 or 20. You know, they are kind of going about their little like, ooh, like, will they, won't they, slow burn kind of thing. And they kind of develop this group of friends that share their interests one way or the other. I love. I feel like I'm like a little insane today. I don't know. But I love this series so much. I really do need to just buy the other books and read them. But manga is expensive. Manga is like $10 a piece, and to get like 10 extra volumes, that's just like a lot of money sometimes that I don't have. But I think this year I am going to make a point of getting the rest of these, because I love this series so much. The next one I want to talk about is a fairly new manga. Hold on, I'm gonna check the copyright date. This is a fairly new manga, and there are only 3 volumes out. I do own all 3. So let me just take a little quick peek at the copyright here. Okay, so 2018, this for volume 1, it says 2018. And this is Mermaid Boy. This series is fantastic. Like I said, there's only 3 volumes. I have read all 3, and I've been like keeping up to date with this as much as possible. Especially because when the first one came out, obviously I bought it, and the other 2 volumes weren't even out yet, so I've been, you know, keeping up with this. But Mermaid Boy is about Prince Naru, who is very much like a very handsome, very ladies' man merman who lives, obviously, you know, in the ocean kingdom. But very Little Mermaid-esque, he falls in love with this human girl. He decides that he wants to be with a human girl, and again, it's kind of a spoiler, but not really. It's kind of more of a main plot point, so you kind of figure it out. Like, I mean, you hear about it in, like, not even halfway through, like, the first book. Like, it's literally... Hold on. I think I'm only it's only this far in to the manga. Like, it's only this far into the manga that he does it. But very Little Mermaid-esque, he makes a deal with a sea witch to become human, but when he goes on land, not in the sense of Little Mermaid where he loses his voice, but in the little, like, he makes a deal, and when he goes on land, he's not the very attractive, suave, like, handsome mermaid prince. He looks like a 12-year-old boy. He's not 12 years old, but he looks like a 12-year-old boy, and he's very, like, ornery, and, like, him and the human girl do not get along. And it's a lot of those shenanigans. She has, like, a pre-existing group of friends, so he kind of is trying to involve himself with them. She lives with, I believe, an uncle or a cousin, I'm not remembering too much off the top of my head, that, like, he has to also involve himself in. The main girl and Prince Naru do not get along a lot. It's very, like, butting heads, like, grrr, like, classic anime kind of style. So I just think it's hilarious. The first 3 books are very good, very funny, but also extremely touching. So I'm really excited to see where the rest of the series goes and, like, how many volumes there are, because I want to know, like, where it ends up going because of how the first 3 books have gone so far. Now, the last manga I want to talk about, this is, again, all of these are like my comfort mangas. I love these. They mean a lot to me. They're very touching and sweet. But this last one is one that I would still call a comfort manga because I read it throughout most of middle school, if not all of middle school. And this is the one that you guys are going to think I am insane once I tell you a bit of the context. So the last one that I want to talk about is called Godchild, and I believe the other name for it, because I don't have it with me, is the Cain Saga. And it says on Wiki, just because I don't have any of the copies, unfortunately, because my mom is a librarian, I was always getting the books from the library. It says on the Wiki that the genre is gothic, but I want to jump in there and say that it's gothic horror, because holy shit, did that mess me up. And now, I'm not a horror person. I'm not, like, I said this in videos before, I am not like a spooky, horror, bloody, gory, scary movie kind of person. I love Halloween, but I love cutesy Halloween. And I like also like classic Halloween, like if you've seen like pictures of like costumes from the 50s, things like that. But as soon as it gets like kind of spooky and like any kind of blood, anything, I'm done. I don't do Paranormal Activity, like none of that shit. This manga, however, is like the only kind of horror that I will deal with, and yes, it does get graphic, so it's kind of funny that it's like the only thing I can deal with, and also that it's like a comfort to me. And it says the original run started in December 1991, and then original run to 2003, but it's also 2 separate things. So the Cain Saga and Godchild are apparently 2 separate parts of the manga. So it's giving me a lot of numbers, 2007, 2006. We're gonna say 2007 because I think the way the author did it is they put out a couple different like arcs of the manga, and they each kind of had different volumes. I don't remember how many volumes there were. The wiki really isn't telling me either because it's splitting it up into the arcs. But I read every single copy of the Cain Saga / Godchild that existed, and I absolutely adored them. And it's about this character named Cain Hargreaves, and he is an earl. He has a butler named Riff, I think. Yeah, that was his name. Butler named Riff and a younger sister named Merryweather. It's very Victorian London based. I don't remember exactly if it does take place in Victorian London, sorry, excuse me. It's Victorian London based, takes place in like Victorian London, and it's like higher aristocratic situations, and Cain is going around, he's like a little detective, he's like a little Sherlock Holmes, he's trying to solve different murders and deal with the other parts of the plot. There are very graphic, very, very graphic depictions of a lot of things. Merryweather is like 10 years old, and there's this guy named Oscar, and he's like a family friend or like a friend of Cain's, and he's like kind of creepy because like it's weird because the manga makes him out as like a good guy, but he decides that he's Merryweather's fiance even though she's 10 years old, so I don't know. And I guess from what I remember, they do get together when she's like much older, but he's like in his 20s when she's like 10 years old. It's very like Jacob imprinting on the CGI baby from Twilight. Like, it's kind of weird. But the whole thing is that Cain has like a curse put upon him that he will die alone and he will never have a happy life. He's off solving these creepy murders. He's off dealing with these people that are a little too close to home. And causing a lot of the problems. And like I said, it's very extremely graphic. There's, it reminds me of like is it CSI? I haven't really watched CSI, but you know, those like little Facebook videos that you watch sometimes and it's like a whole episode of a TV show, but like sped up with weird music in the background. It reminds me a lot of some episodes of CSI because there's one villain girl that's like Spider Queen, and it's really creepy, and like the imagery is so well done because it's extremely uncomfortable. There's another girl that like is turning people into dolls. Like, it's a lot of blood, a lot of like graphic depictions of stuff. But I think the reason why I like it is just because the writing and the plot and the storytelling and the world building and the background of all the characters are just so well done. Again, I don't know why this is like the only kind of horror, spooky, like gory kind of thing that I enjoy, but I really enjoy it. I miss it, and now I really want to like get my hands on a bunch of these mangas and like get all of Godchild, get all of Fruits Basket, get the rest of Ottoman. But yeah, I love I don't know what we want to call it, the Cain saga, the Godchild. I called it Godchild because that was what was on the front of every manga. But I absolutely adore it. It's so good. It's so fucking creepy. And you know what? The Victorian London thing really appeals to me because I had that like middle school special interest at one point about Jack the Ripper. So I think it all kind of plays in my head. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think Jack the Ripper was a theme of one of the volumes. So there you have it. Alright, so yeah, if you are a fan of manga, I highly recommend and really encourage you guys to look into any of these, and the two that I mentioned that I don't have copies of, unfortunately. Special shout out, what are they called? Honorable mention. Honorable mention to a manga called Gakuen Alice. I don't remember if that's exactly how you pronounce it. And I'll put the pictures up here. Gakuen Alice, Alice in Heartsland, I think it was, but then there was also like Alice in like Cloverland. It's kind of strange. And there's one that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to remember the name of, but I just remember that there was a guy who wore a white suit and his name was Sven. And then the main guy, I think, had more of a Japanese name, and they were kind of like secret agent adventurer people? I'm never going to read Black Cat? Was it Black Cat something? Oh my god, if I can find it, I will put it up on the screen. Those are honorable mentions. Ones that I did read and absolutely loved, but they kind of faded out of my life, and I don't really remember them as much, but those are honorable mentions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this, and let me know if you guys read any manga or like manga fans and can recommend any to me, like kind of based off of all the series I mentioned. Please do down in the comments. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! I'm gonna film the thumbnail and take this hoodie off because now I'm overheated, and then I'm going to bed.